The increase in dangerous driving in our state is impacting people who aren't even behind the wheel.
Chief Investigator Len Bestoff breaks down why pedestrian deaths are on a new record pace and what the state can do to halt the trend.
If you've ever been hit by a vehicle, you'll never forget it, if you survive.
She died because somebody hit her. This is one thing I cannot take it.
Loida Toledo's daughter, Michelle Trausch, didn't. She died from her injuries after being struck by a hit-and-run driver in Waterbury just over a month ago. Police found the driver, now facing charges including manslaughter and reckless driving. He's awaiting arraignment.
We need to go to court, and I want to see the guy in front of me because I need to see him and I need to speak to him what he did to my daughter.
Pedestrian traffic deaths in Connecticut are now on track to potentially meet or surpass the state record of 72 in 2022, according to Eric Jackson with the Connecticut Transportation Institute.
And we're actually approaching the peak time for pedestrian fatalities. But really and truly, it's October to December is where we see a lot of pedestrian fatalities start to occur.
He says there are a number of initiatives underway to try to tackle this issue, which is a national problem. For starters, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration is proposing a new rule requiring new vehicle hood designs that will reduce serious and fatal injuries in pedestrian crashes, something already being explored in our state.
We've done some crash testing out here on the Depot campus where we actually had some mannequins that were struck, and you can see and you can watch where that body actually falls up onto the car or gets thrown off to the side of the car. And what we can do is start designing the angle or slope of that vehicle to try and produce a crash that's less injury producing.
Towns and cities like New Haven are using federal infrastructure funds to redesign roadways with bad track records of pedestrian safety. Several Connecticut cities are also looking at pedestrian safety zones with signs warning drivers there's a lot of pedestrian traffic in the area, along with speed limits lowered to 20 or even 15 miles per hour. While there's no federal funds earmarked for where Michelle Trausch was killed, that stretch of East Main Street in Waterbury is one of the areas being targeted by the Naugatuck Valley's Vision Zero Council. Vision Zero councils across the country have been set up with a goal of eliminating all vehicle, bicycle, and pedestrian traffic fatalities.
The best thing we can do is shorten the distance that you're in the road as much as possible. And so that's where curb bump outs come in and curb extensions. It brings that sense of complexity for drivers, and it forces them to slow down and evaluate the situation more carefully.
To me, there's more we can do with engineering.
Wes Marshall got his PhD at UConn, conducts traffic research in Colorado, and has a book out about poor traffic engineering. He says while pedestrians make mistakes by jaywalking and other questionable behavior, it's also because we don't have enough sidewalks. No fancy engineering necessary.
Let's just start with the sidewalks, start with just basic infrastructure like that, and it'll make a much bigger difference in the long run.
You have a good heart, you know what I mean?
Loida Toledo just wishes those engineering improvements were in place before her daughter's life was cut short in a pedestrian crash caused by an alleged hit-and-run driver.
It's scary.
It's scary, you know. We need to change this system. I don't understand why the driver didn't see it.
Researchers are also taking a closer look at who these victims are. A new study suggests a significant share of pedestrian crash victims may be homeless. Len Bestoff, NBC Connecticut Investigates.